next inductee. Rod was a football teammate and great friend of the inductees. Rod's dad is Scott Smith, class of 43, in the audience, and also on the Athletic Hall of Fame committee. Rod?
Okay, good evening, everybody, and I want to just say that the feel-good evening is wonderful, but the group in the 70s was a tougher and rougher bunch, and we might be a little bit tougher on the inductee this evening. Okay, in the fall of 1967, the terror of an athlete entered the Harvard School in the 8th grade. He first exhibited his skill, and believe it or not, he was the single-wing tailback in the 120-pound football team that was coached by Mr. Kurt Kuhl. So from that point on, John Haldeman exhibited a level of intensity beyond anything we'd ever seen before in every sport that he played. Stop seeing my notes here, so bear with me. Neil Buckley liked what he saw on the 135-pound team. And as most of you know, if you knew Neil Buckley, he recruited you to play in wrestling. I mean, constantly. So he recruited John to wrestle. Well, John tried that wrestling thing, and the rules, though, were a little too restrictive. He just wouldn't, you know, he really just couldn't slug the guy when things weren't going well. So, with that in mind, he moved on to basketball, where the officials had no problem interpreting his offensive fouls. Baseball proved that John could play a less physical sport until that infamous day at Malvern Prep. John had just tuned up the catcher after a collision at home plate, and one of Malvern's priests approached John to set him straight. Needless to say that their discussion, and I use that term loosely, was not of a religious nature. John had enough of that and figured lacrosse was the way to go. Play of contact and a stick that into punishment. It turned out to be a good choice, because after playing 2 years at Harvard School and doing very well there, he went on to get All-American honors at Duke University. As you see, there was talent under all that aggression. Trust me when I tell you this, that John wasn't much of a loser. He actually hated it. He was very competitive. Even ping pong and pool were contact sports. And trust me when I say this, I had the bruises to show. A flying ping pong paddle. Anyway. Okay, enough of the cheap shots. Football was where John's ability really separated him from the rest of all of us. He played with ferocity that intimidated opponents, while his elusive running ability amazed those who watched. When John moved to the varsity level, he selected John Gallagher's number, his jersey. And it wasn't because it was a cool jersey. This jersey had more holes and more rips from Gallagher's years of running. But it says a lot about how he approached the game and what he was trying to accomplish. But John was more than just a great running back. He played a nasty defensive back. He kicked off, he returned punts. Did our play, kicked our extra points, and when other teams dared, he returned kickoffs for us. I have to admit, our coaches may have overdid it just a tad. But, you know, I have all three of them here, so I got to be nice to them. I still think that you know, John's performance on the field cannot be gauged by his team, the full game statistics. We weren't allowed to finish our games in high school because we were pounding them so bad. It was not unusual for him to gain over 100 yards a quarter. Against an undefeated Chestnut Hill team his senior year, our senior year, he scored 4 touchdowns on 2 carries. He had a punt return and a kickoff return, about 250 yards in the first quarter. So, when you look at something like that, it's just amazing. And then you think, well, if Coach Mack had left him in the game, let him play beyond that, 250 times 4 is a 1,000-yard game. I'm proud to say that I played alongside John every step of his way in Harvard School, and even managed to garner a small piece of his glory. You see, I was the guy who snapped the ball in that 120-pound single-wing team. And I went on to snap for every one of his punts and extra points that he kicked. And there was a lot of talk about beating up on Episcopal. And I have to say, the whole way through my career at Harvard School, we started before John got there, and then when he came, we never lost a game to Episcopal Academy. And matter of fact, yeah, he was lucky. And as a matter of fact, our 2 years of my junior and senior year, we outscored them, because everybody's grown up, you score things, we just got to rub it in a little bit, 90-13. So, just wanted to, we could pound it on too. And I do that in honor of Mr. Mel Truman, our line coach, who now works at that other school. Okay, so, anyhow, but anyway, so thanks to this friendship I have with John on and off the field, I have to say that as the college recruiters came around, I became one of the most highly recruited offensive linemen in Harvard School's history. The final exclamation point of John's Harvard School football career came in the summer of our after our graduation at the Montgomery County All-Star Game. John arrived in practice with a knee injury from playing in the city suburban All-Star Game and was unable to go full speed in practice. All week I endured the comments from the other players. Who does this guy think he is? You know, just waltzing around here and thinks he's going to play. Well, because he wasn't 100% too, John's competitive and charming personality just wasn't shining through. I simply answered, "You'll see." Game time finally arrived, and the South team, which we were playing on, actually had elected the other running back as the captain of the team. He was the kinder, gentler type. And so John's entry in the game was a little delayed. But when he got his chance, he finally got in late in the first quarter and proceeded to take the ball around right hand, did his patented elusive moves on players and dodged tackles, and scored the first touchdown of the game. And, well, on the sideline, these grumbling players from practice went wild, and I was showered with their newfound approval, and that more glory for me. Anyhow, that was cool. But then also, you know, believe it or not, the head coach of Episcopal at the time was the coach of our team, and assisting him was a fellow by the name of Jack Turner, someone you might remember as GA's head coach, and he was marching up and down the sidelines. It was pretty comical and it was fun. But he was going wildly, you know, just raving, just totally raving about, you know, all of it. You know, he's unbelievable. And, you know, proudly pronouncing the power of the Interact League. But then he also slid over to me and said, "Sure glad you graduated." John rushed for 150 plus yards that night and was the game's MVP. Propelled the South squad to victory. His performance gained a ton of respect for the Harvard School football program and also the Interact League. John had, sorry, I lost my page here. There we go. So in conclusion, I have to say that I stand here proud to have been a part John's football accomplishments and also being his friend. And we have some folks here tonight too that played on these teams with us who scored a lot of touchdowns thanks to all the other teams following. Malvern Prep tried in their garnets to keep John from rushing for 100 yards in a game, and that was their pride and joy. But there's a fellow here, Peter Linquist, who gained 250 yards my senior year in that game. Another fellow, Russell Allen, he ran amok, scored a ton of touchdowns with us. But most importantly, I would like you to join me and the other all Interact linemen in my graduating class, and that's Tom Hipple, John Behringer, and Bob McCaffrey, who are here tonight, who all cleared the path as we honor John Haldeman, inductee.
For me, tonight is really about, and I think for many of the inductees tonight, this is really about this school. And it's a testament to the school that all of you come back to events like this. It was just a high school athlete, that's all we were. But there were some great teachers and coaches that took us places and have enabled us to go places that I think is really what this night's all about. So to Dr. Cox and George Wood, thank you very much for what you've done tonight, and you have a lot to take forward, and I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful thing in the future. I've got 4 other groups to thank other than the school. First, 3 coaches that took care of us when we were here. Coach Mayock, Coach Truman, and Coach McBride. A lot of people have talked about. People have talked about you guys, but there's, I think the character skills that you taught us all have taken many of us to places and levels that we never thought we would ever get to. And we owe you a great debt of gratitude for that. Thank you very much. Ronnie talked about the team, and you guys have to understand what those. There were 10, 12 great athletes on the Haverford School football teams of 70 to 71. Spectacular athletes. That 02 team, well, congratulations, guys, but I'm telling you, we had 2 great football teams, and I just wish that you guys were up here with me, because you know what it was all about. Coach Mayock, our senior year, came in early in the year and said to us, just remember, guys, you're never going to see anything like this. And it truly was a spectacular season. I've got some friends who showed up here tonight, and I didn't invite any of them. I'd like to thank them all for coming. It does mean a lot to me that you folks came. I really appreciate that. Finally, to me, it's about family. And my wife Sue, 2 kids, Michael and Kaylin. All these other speakers that came before me, almost put them under the table, but they're doing okay right now. My brother and my mother are here, and unfortunately my dad died in October, and he would have gotten the biggest kick out of tonight. And on behalf of him, I'd like to thank you very much for the honor.
You said there is no reason, and the truth is plain to see. But I wander through my playing cards, would not let her be one of 16 Vestal virgins who were leaving for the coast. And although my eyes were open, they might just as well have been closed. And so it was as the mirror told his tale, that her face at first just ghostly turned the